Hello everybody, I'm that one Scott, and if my previous video, if my previous thing wasn't put in there, which I don't know if I'm going to put in or not, I had to basically dance on eggshells for a couple of seconds there to try and get this bang on with the recording, because when you're clicking a video and you're trying to set everything up, let's say you're clicking the video, you go into it and you pause, so you make sure it's all paused. You get videos and then you get ads that come up and just throw you can put up. So I had that to do like to dance around that while trying not to wreck the song for myself, because as per usual, I don't know who decides this at YouTube, but they decide it doesn't matter what you want. We're going to make this difficult for you to get what you want, just so that we can get what we need. It might sound like a minor complaint to anybody else, but when you're doing videos like this, it is. Even if you're not even here just watching it, it's annoying. Anyway, that aside. So, I'm aware of who Jinjer are, obviously, and I have seen thumbnails of this, but I've never watched the video because I thought if I was going to do it, I'd do it this way, so I could enjoy this the way I wanted to enjoy it. This is, as you can tell by the title, it's Jinjer Judgement and Punishment. Tatiana Schmilak, I'm going to guess that's how you would pronounce that, and it's the one-take vocal performance of this song. So I decided that I wanted to watch a master of her craft do what she's doing. I don't know what other word besides master I can use for a female doing this, because I figure master, just, you know, I don't know what the, that's just the terminology I'm using because it makes sense to me. So, it's, I killed that anything I can say here. I'm going to sit here and enjoy this, and because I've got a belief, I've got a theory going into this that she's going to prove my point. Here's my point. Here's what I think she's going to prove, and it's been proved multiple times before, but for her, I especially think it's going to be proved. If she's going to do what I think she's going to do, she'll jump between clean vocals and guttural vocals, or false calls, what they're called, like some people say she's using. She's going to jump between the two of them simultaneously, which will prove, overall, with evidence on tape, that metal singers have more talent than pop singers in general. Anyone who sings anything involved in that, I go as far as even rap or anything that's popular in terms of what's accepted socially. She'll be able to disprove this in one go, right? I will be pausing through this as a warning. It's going to happen, so just accept that. It's just going to take. I've got to do it because of copyright issues. But if you watch my last video that I've uploaded, Memento Mori, you'll see the style I'm going to be here. If you don't like it and you can offer an alternative, I'd be happy to hear it. But at this point, this is the only way I can go with it. Okay. So without further ado, let's go ahead and watch Jinjer Judgement and Punishment by Tatiana Schmilak. If that's how you say it. A one-take vocal performance. And here we go in 3, 2, 1. Let me just get this off to a strong start by saying, I don't know who I'm supposed to pay attention to here, her or the cat, but it's quite funny to me that she bring the cat into the record studio, because I wonder how long it's going to take before. I don't know how many times has that cat heard her sing, or heard her scream. It's bound to be quite a few. Anyway, I just think it's funny that she brought the cat into the recording booth there. So it's the kind of thing. It's the kind of thing that loving sadist do to the animals before scaring absolute shit at them. So here we go. Alright, let's get the copyright timer on this bang on before we go any further, because she's a bit too low. So obviously the cat isn't going to get us, obviously the cat will get freaked out by the damage she's taken. Here we go again, 3, 2, 1, just to give me as much of a chance for her singing as possible before we go to pause it again.
Waking from the land, wickedness equals weakness. Feelings are conditional, and help is something supernatural.
I'm pausing at this point now. Okay, I'm pissing you off, I know it. It is amazing how good she is at this, just at that part. She's very, very talented. You can tell it's taken a lot of work for her to get to this point. It's some metal singers just go straight into clean sings with the genre they're in. She quite likes to dance about different things. It wouldn't surprise me if she actually was into Gwen Stefani. It really wouldn't surprise me. Because it sounds to me like something that's came out of ska, or just something that's came out of Bob Marley. It's just something that's come out of that. So I'll listen and see what else I think she's going to go with.
Your judgment, son, you're a punishment. Your judgment, son, you're a punishment. Yes, it is what it is. I know you're pissed off, narrow mind. Cannot believe what they hear. An individual with bitter in the world is a cause of deficiency of goodness and love. Of goodness and love.
Okay. To everybody that says that metalheads like herself, and I'm not just pinning in a box for that, because I think every single person who likes metal can easily be described as being a metalhead and a whole bunch of other things, right? She is proving my point that just because you can scream, it doesn't mean to say you can't sing, but also that just because there's a whole bunch of pop singers that are singing, that they cannot be top in terms of talent, like any metalheads that can also sing. She has got more range in her voice than most pop singers have that don't even attempt what she's attempting. I honestly believe that. I've not seen her hit the vocal highs of some pop singers, but that's not to say, I mean, you try and get pop singers to do what she's doing when she's screaming. I say screaming, but you know what I mean if you're a metalhead, you know what I mean, because there's different types. She has proven without a shadow of a doubt that metalheads like herself, who have the ability to go between doing metal screams and jumping to singing, have way more range of a talent than most pop singers who I don't care how high they can go. She might, I don't know if she's got the highs, but she definitely is beyond them in terms of what she's able to do at this point. That's a fact.
All your good intentions are muted and disabled. Booyah! Tell me what you're gonna bring to the table. Do you know we're gonna eat at the same table? This is what it is. I know you're pissed off, narrow minds cannot believe in what they hear. The system of beliefs, experiences, stress, mental impotence, put into the test.
Pausing very quickly here, two things. One, I'll have to look at the lyrics after this, and the second one, she reminds me, there was a part where I could have paused much earlier, there's a wee bit back there where I watched a reaction video by Brad and Lex, and they were watching Colin's Freaking a Leash, and then they did the whole scatter thing at a certain point. The way she is doing what she's doing here, with even just throwing something silly into the song, something I would view as being just, even for a bit of a laugh, or whatever her reason is for throwing it in. It's interesting watching somebody like that do something so different, so unique, that you kind of want to hear it again and again and again. And she's doing something so good with this that when Colin did the whole thing with Freaking Leash, it wasn't as accepted as what she'll be down here with us. I find it fascinating when people throw these wee things in because it helps to separate them from the rest of the part. And as far as the lyrics goes, this isn't. I don't think. I think she's. There's. I'll wait. In fact, I tell you what, I'll wait till I just look at the lyrics and then I'll bring up a point in because I've definitely been reminded at that point.
So if you were here to figure out myself there, talk about the brother, talk about the brother, the power of stage. Yes, I don't know why. Was it a belt? Down the mouse down. That's exactly what makes us go even further.
Okay. Right. I went for being. The reason I laugh when she screams is because it is so good hearing that. It's an impressive thing. That's why I laugh. It's just so impressive that she can do that. That you've got this week. You don't know what I mean. I've been listening to metalheads screaming, well, the metal singers screaming for years, right? I don't care who they are. I'm always impressed by their ability to do what they do because I can't do it. So I'm always impressed with them. But every time I listen to it, I'm going to be impressed by the ability and then straight into wanting to know exactly what it is she's saying. Because for some reason, it's going to be enjoying ability to sound like somebody's preaching. So I'm wondering what she's really saying. And there's wee bits I'm picking up on, but I can't quite work out what she's saying. Some things are coming a bit clearer and other things are not. So, but aye, she is brilliant. She's absolutely amazing.
This is what it is. A life based on narrow minds cannot believe in what they hear. The system of beliefs, experience and stress, mental and penitent, put into the test.
Not get very long to go anyway, and I'm not positive for this. This is definitely her attacking people. It's for what I can pick up the narrow-minded people. She's obviously going after them. She's obviously criticising. It's aye. There's definitely a message in here. I'll have to look at the lyrics to see it properly.
Your judgment, for your own punishment. Your judgment, your punishment.
Okay, right. As I said I was going to do, here we go. Came from the lands where kindness goes weakness, feelings are conditional, and help is something supernatural. Alright. Your judgment, sign your own punishment. Your judgment, sign your own punishment. Right. So, okay, being a certain. Right. So, I'm not sure who she's referring to, what lands certain people came to. Obviously, if you're compassionate, is a weakness. Feelings basically are only useful when they're necessary, and help is something you get that you very rarely get ever. You never really get it. So that's that first bit. So your punishment is whatever you're delivering will be damned upon you. Okay. Yes, it is what it is. I know you're pissed off now and it's kind of believe what they do. Right, okay. So if I understand this right, this is her judgment upon them. This is what she's saying. This is, we came to this. This is what this is. We came to the lands where all this takes place. And this is what your punishment's going to be based on this. Yes, it is what it is. And the people who she would say this to get angry because they'd be called out for what they like. They get called out for this kind of thing and they wouldn't like it, so they get, because they're too narrow-minded to understand that what they're doing is wrong, what they're doing isn't the right thing. But I suppose that would depend upon a situation, individual versus anything else. So, continuing on. Funny enough, an individual with bitter inner world, right? So cynical people is a cause of deficiency of goodness and love. Aye. They prevent that coming through. They prevent that in the world. And because of the way they go on, it makes it harder for other people to think it exists, and it makes it harder for people to come through that they want to. Basically, if you're a shining example on the very opposite, the more people are likely to go along with that, versus if you're the exact opposite, people are likely to follow that. Internet's a good example of that. The more cynical you are, the more people listen to you, but the more compassionate, the more they ignore you, kind of thing. All your good intentions are muted and disabled. There you are. Aye. Straightforward. Tell me what you're going to bring to the table. As cynical as this is, it's a good question given the right circumstances and the right people. As I said, based off the individual or based off circumstance can be a good. This could be a good situation, a good thing to bring up, or a bad thing, give or take the individual or the situation. Do you know we're going to eat at the same table? If you're talking relationship-wise, that's the same thing. But if you're talking family-wise, it's a different kind of thing. If you're talking society-wise, it can be different. You're talking different tables, different people. Maybe I'm not too far into it, but you can't really blame me at that point. It seems very general what she's asking there. If you're talking as a society, it is what it is. I know you're pissed off. Narrow minds cannot believe in what they hear. The systems of beliefs experience stress, mental impertinence put into the test. See, she could begin after any religion with this as well. It doesn't matter what religion you're talking about. She could either begin after a religion with this, or she could begin after just a person's own set of beliefs. She could be criticising any of this with this. So it's when people just commit themselves to one set of ideological beliefs and don't think to themselves, right, okay, is there any flaws to this? Is there anything I can improve upon? Is there anything that's not working? Is there anything that needs to be adapted? There's so much you could look at that, because open-minded philosophers are the types that will question any belief system and rip apart anything they see as being wrong. And then it comes to the believers of that type of thing who will say, no, you just don't understand it. Okay, then how about you enlighten me? Because even I'd be confused at that point. Say, okay, what is it I don't understand? And if they say, oh, we'll just read the book, it's no, you tell me, because clearly you know more than I do. So it comes up to that type of thing. And people who are actually all about self-improvement, I don't say being better, because that's just a falsehood, right? People who are about improving themselves will actually question and challenge things in order to figure out how to improve something if it's necessary, if it actually benefits the overall goal that they're aiming for, be that to improve the overall belief system or to help an individual. It could be any scenario for that. But anyway, I'll continue. Okay, so if you're here to bring the atmosphere of fear, don't bother, brother. Right, it could, again, religion or any belief system out there, it doesn't matter. Although it must be hard to have a religion which is pushing for fear as a form of believe or die, right? And any religion, I don't care what religion you point to, anyone can fall into that, right? Any religion falls into that, plus just an individual pushing a belief system of their own, whatever it might be, right? If they're pushing the whole thing of, if you don't go into this, you're lost, you'll never think like God or whatever it is, you'll never get into that. If they're pushing a belief system, they're already impaired. If you're going to push a belief system, why not push the concept of, look, this is what I believe, you don't need to believe that, you can look into it and decide for yourself. That's fairness. But no every religious belief pushes that because they want control, and control is the overall gain of every religious belief system out there. I'd say minus Buddhism. I don't know too much about it, but that's questionable. Which seems to be made about peace and happiness and else, but you get my point. Every religious system pushes for control, not anything else. That's the overall goal and the overall thing for, I'd say, every single one of them. If they're pushed to extremes, or even in some cases something like, it's the overall thing. You can tell me I'm wrong in the comment section, I'll find out anyway. The power of speech has died away. Freedom of speech absolutely died away at that point, because you're not able to question authority, and therefore question of authority means that you must be put away because there's a chance that you will force people to question what they're believing in. It doesn't matter what one you're talking about, that same thing happens. Poisonous spill, dirty moth sting. Okay? I'll leave that where it is. I don't know the dirty moth part, but it's the poisonous spill part. Sting, okay. So you get stung by these belief systems which control the way you think. Absolutely. That's why I'm a big advocate of freedom of speech, and I'm not a big advocate for being controlled by thought control, which is why I'm not a fan of political correctness at all. Don't bother, brother. We've seen things that can't be unseen. It can mean, there can be it violence, or be it subjugation, be it anything that goes to the extremes of violence, anything like that, or just mental control over people and making them do things, anything like that can all play into that easily. Don't bother, brother. That's exactly what makes us go even further. Okay? So that's exactly what makes us go further. So that could be that she or anyone else is fighting to get away from that type of thing. Fighting to stay away from that type of thing, to make sure it doesn't happen. So it sounds like that to me. This is what it is. I know you're pissed off now, and this cannot believe in what you hear with belief systems of beliefs that experience stress. The foundations can be destroyed if the ideals are disproved. Mental impotence put into the test. Your faith is tested. Your judgment is saying your own punishment. Your judgment is punishment. That's like a saying off thing. That's pretty clever how she ended that. But I like the song. I love the message. I understand, but it can go any what way depending on what way you choose to push it. It's why I looked at the lyrics, because I knew there was a message, but I had to basically, because with metalheads and metal singers screaming, it's hard. Metalheads love the ability of screaming, but not everyone can pick up what's being screamed in the message. So we have to do this type of thing, which I've done for years. But metal is one of the very few forms of music which allows complete freedom of expression, and the metalheads actually appreciate it because it's been done in such a fashion that they actually enjoy it being done. And we like open-mindedness in metal, from what I understand. I can't say that for everybody, but at least that's what I like. But it's a great song that expresses her ability and even shows how great the band were, because I wasn't too focused on them, I wasn't too focused on the band. I was more focused not because anything I listen to music like this, I'm more focused on what the singers are singing about, if they stand out enough, rather than the music. If it's the music and it stands out enough, I'll focus on it, but in this case it was her. So, but I couldn't hear anything wrong with the music. The band seemed so tight and so well constructed with their music that I couldn't find anything wrong, and I was enjoying it all the way through. So this is another song I have to playlist. So, Anyway, I know I've not said much about the band, and it's not to take anything away from them. When you do something so good that people don't notice how good you are, it can also be a compliment, and in this case it is. So, leaving that where it is, hope you enjoyed the reaction, hope you enjoyed my analysis, and I will leave it here. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.